So this here is an iPhone 11 Pro, and should you buy this device in 2023? That's the question that I'm gonna be talking about in here. Well, the thing is that this iPhone is the first ever to be shipped with a triple lens camera setup. So you cannot buy any cheaper one which would be equipped with the same amount of cameras. Yes, they are 12 megapixel sensors, all of them, even the front-facing selfie camera. I'm gonna get to it in just a second, but the thing I want to say is that it's not that different from the upcoming iPhone 12 Pro, so it's, like I said, the cheapest one which you can get with this type of setup. It is also the first ever iPhone to be called a Pro iPhone, so you're getting also the cheapest Pro iPhone ever released, and that's why I think that the 11 Pro has this kind of sweet spot in here. For example, I have this nice and beautiful looking gold color which looks good from every angle, and it's a nice phone. For example, if you were to purchase an iPhone 11, you don't have those premium colors like this rose gold or gold colors that you have with the Pro models. The regular ones like the iPhone 11 or a 10R, for example, are equipped with those bright colors for like broader public, but the Pro is clearly a professional iPhone with Pro colors to it, so there are plenty of things you could consider when buying this device. And overall, I don't think that you're gonna be missing out on a lot of things in here. Like, it runs smooth and everything is gonna be working the way that it should. We are way past behind the times when it actually made a difference which chipset you had inside your iPhone. It's not really that important anymore. Like, for the regular user, I don't think that you'll be able to push this iPhone to such an extent that you're gonna feel that it doesn't have the latest A15 or A16 Bionic chip. I mean, this is gonna be really good for your everyday using. So you can of course record 4K videos without any problems. You can just set it up, everything in here, so you can see 4K quality for this one, as well as for the front-facing camera. You can see 4K there as well. So even your selfies and photos and videos are gonna look really good. Like, you have all those options except for some smaller improvements in the sensor. Of course, you know that the iPhone 12 and 13 have a much thicker cameras right here. Those are kind of flat and kind of small compared to the latest ones, but I mean, if we're literally honest, you're not gonna be missing out on that much. And for the price that you're gonna save while buying the iPhone 11 Pro, I think it's really worth it to just go for this one. You can buy the iPhone 11 Pro for about $400 at best, perhaps even lower, depends on the condition. But if you just want to spend $500 on an iPhone 11 Pro, you can get it in a bigger capacity, in a good condition, and I definitely think that you're gonna be satisfied with it. Plus, the screen in here is really bright. I mean, those newer iPhones really don't go past that much. So you have 800 nits of regular brightness and 1200 nits of peak brightness. So whenever you're outside on the sun or doing something, you will not have a big problem seeing the screen even in direct sunlight. I mean, it might get a little bit problematic there, but it's not gonna be like a big deal. You're not like having iPhone 10R, which is gonna be a little bit worse on a direct sunlight, and it has much worse resolution. This 11 Pro has 458 ppi, so it's really dense display, dense with pixels, so the quality of the content that you're going to be watching is going to be really good. I don't think that you should worry about that. All of the 11 Pro models are equipped with 40 gigabytes of RAM, but as we know with Apple, it's not that big of a deal because everything is so optimized with iOS, so I wouldn't really just think about the specs that much because it's not that important when it comes to Apple, as we know for sure. One thing though is the capacity. This is something that I would definitely take a look at, because this one right here is just 64 gigabytes version, which definitely isn't a lot. Apple should have discontinued these lower capacity iPhones a lot sooner, but for some reason they still kept on making and manufacturing iPhones with 64 gigabytes, and on iPhones we cannot upgrade it with an SD card or anything like that. You can only just buy more iCloud storage, which doesn't really work that way or that well, because you always need to have internet to access those files. I don't think it's the best way to rely on iCloud storage. Well, I think that you should consider at least the 256 gigabytes version. There was no 128 for some reason. Apple skipped that, probably because they wanted to make you upgrade to the 256. But yeah, perhaps you don't need to go for the 512, but at least something in between, just so you don't get stuck with 64 gigabytes on iPhone. Because yeah, that's definitely not a lot, considering how good the cameras get and how many photos you probably will want to just capture and videos and stuff. And the 64 gigabytes is definitely not going to be enough. Plus, it's not just the exact amount, so you can see I have pretty much an empty iPhone, and 12 gigs are already taken up by the iOS and by the system data and some random apps, which I actually want to have on the iPhone and are already like pre-installed. This iPhone is equipped with Apple A13 Bionic, and this turned out to be a good chip because they also implemented it into other devices. So besides the entire 11 Pro series, which is equipped with Apple A13 Bionic, and also the iPhone 11, this chip also appeared in some other newer devices. For example, SE second generation, for example, had the Apple A13, or the brand new release of the Apple Studio display had it. I know it's a display, so it doesn't need that much power, but still, it's like still being used today, so it's not like anything outdated, and it can run like new software without any problem. Speaking of which, the iPhone came with iOS 13 brand new out of the box, but right now it can easily just upgrade to the latest iOS 16.2, iOS 17 is going to be available, so I wouldn't really worry about it. It's going to be supported for a really long time, so yeah, at least you can expect like 2 or 3 years in the future. So yeah, the support is going to be there. Some features perhaps may not be available, like for example, the Apple Music Sync, which has just been released, is limited to devices which are at least iPhone 11 or newer, so you're gonna get it on this one, but perhaps next year when Apple releases something new, maybe the 11 Pro may be left out, but who knows now. I cannot tell you anything, only that the next software releases, the big ones like iOS 17 or 18, will most likely be supported, and almost for sure. So yeah, the software support is definitely great with even older Apple products. If you're buying this device on eBay, however, make sure to pay attention to the listings, because as you can see, I'm going to zoom in at the camera a bit just so you can see. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it properly, but you can see right here that there's like a crack in the camera glass, and I didn't actually notice it. The eBay listing actually showed it, but I just didn't pay attention to it a lot. So I have a broken glass in here. It doesn't stand in the way when I take photos or anything, but I just kind of thought that I'm gonna share it with you just so you know that you need to be cautious whenever you're buying used devices on the internet. Of course, if you want to just go ahead and buy a refurbished one, if you really want to have like a sort of brand new experience, the possibilities are there, but the 11 Pro as a device is a really good one. Like, yeah, for sure it has the wireless charging. It doesn't support a MagSafe, but you can still charge it wirelessly the regular way. I mean, you're not gonna miss out on a lot of things in here. The accessories are there for just like for any other iPhone. If you just look it up, you're gonna get many accessories available, like cases, covers, and other things which you can use on your iPhone. For example, if you just walk into some random stores in the shopping mall, they usually don't cover or don't have any cases for iPhone 11, but the 11 Pro is always like full of stuff and accessories that you can buy. When it comes to the design, we have the notch, which is the first generation of the notch. I mean, it's the new design, of course. The home button, I don't even count that anymore because it's really outdated, but the iPhone 13 got the notch, which is a bit smaller, and 14 Pro removed it altogether, but this bigger notch still doesn't make it look that bad in my opinion, and I still feel like it's sort of a newer phone. I mean, it doesn't make it look that old in my opinion. Let me know down below in the comments if you feel about it, or if you feel something different about the notch design, and if this would actually deter you from buying, because I don't think it would. Like, it has Face ID and all the stuff stuff, which works well, so I don't see a reason why this could be like a downside of this iPhone. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to see more videos like this, definitely subscribe to Foxtecc Devices, and we can see each other in the future. Thanks a lot for watching.